BTC Reaper. My goal on this channel is to teach you how to reap the rewards of trading, whether the price is going up or down. So over on Bitcoin dominance, we are attempting to make a higher high. We were a little bit lower than this previous high just before I started, so I would watch how this plays out. If we confirm a higher high here, we could see bullish momentum for Bitcoin. Again, that means our altcoins likely will stay pretty flat compared to Bitcoin. Over on total, we do have a rounding top here, so I would watch for further red candles. If we see further bearish momentum, then we're likely going to continue lower and retest that 936. VWAP is starting to pull back, momentum wants around, RSI is starting to drop, and stochastic does want to push down as well. Over on the 1 hour, we do have a lower low after making a slightly lower high. So we do have a slight bearish trend forming here. Watch for this to continue because we could continue to drop. We can cover a graph 2 abolisher. I believe that is the one of the ones that were in the grayscale ETFs though. So as long as it's in the grayscale ETFs, we should be fine here. Let me look that up real quick. I don't know why it's giving me goofy results when I try to look that up. So yeah, Graph is one that is in a grayscale ETF, so that is positive for it because it being in part of an ETF does mean big money is looking at it, so it could help pump it later. Now, if you're worried that your bag is falling and has nowhere to go, then you may want to take some initial out. Maybe you're over leveraged in just that position. If you have too much in one coin, that does make it a little harder as well. That's why I try to stay a little diversified, but my portfolio has been a little bit heavier Bitcoin and heavier XRP just because of things going on with XRP and Bitcoin respectively. I haven't sold off as heavy on those as I have some of my other coins, but we will look at how the charts look at for Graph. Stochastic does want to push down. RSI is starting to weaken. VWAP is pushing down, and money flow is starting to weaken. So I would watch if that VWAP continues to push down. Our altcoins are going to continue to suffer. So keep that in mind as well when we cover any of these coins. Now, over on Bitcoin, we did try to push up to our neckline. We got rejected, so this could be a little bit concerning because we need to get above this 104 range and break into a bullish trend if we're going to see a continuation toward that like 120K range. If we don't see that continuation, it's going to be hard for our altcoins to continue forward. That's also why we need that dominance to weaken while Bitcoin in total go up. Yeah, I wouldn't be worried too much with the grayscale part of it. It may be more of a longer play. So, like XRP, it took people a long time for that to pay off. Graph may be a similar thing as people start flooding into the market and get more used to some of these projects with utility. There's a lot of projects that don't have great utility. So, I'm a firm believer that utility is more important in the long run because that's where investors are going to want to put their money. That's the projects they're going to use. They're not going to use Pepe Inu coin. So VWAP does want to push down, momentum wants around. RSI is pretty flat, and stochastic does look like it's starting to curl, so I would exercise caution. Over on the 1 hour, we are dropping down very quick. When you do drop down very quick, that is positive because you do have the chance to push up. We did make about half of our move forward, and then we got that rejection. So we got our bullish breakout, but then we rejected breaking past for our pattern. So our double bottom pattern may be shot at this point because we have a lower low. If we follow this with a lower high, we could see a bearish trend form, and that bearish trend could start to kick us down. There's our links for you guys, by the way. That bearish trend could kick us down. VWAP does have a lower low, so I would watch that VWAP is starting to get a little more bearish, and if it continues to get more bearish, we could see a pullback. Watch for a break of 100K because if we break that 100K, we do have those gapped areas we could fill, and things could get pretty brutal if we do fill those. But keep in mind, it could be a nice DCA opportunity. Everyone expects the market's going to start shooting up tomorrow. I don't know. Kind of hard to say if it's going to. No one really knows. I don't think just because Trump's in office, it's going to push up. It may kick forward temporarily, but we're going to need to actually see what policies kind of happen and how things unfold to see if that push is sustainable or not. That VWAP does want to pull back. Momentum is starting to round. We have a red dot, so watch that VWAP. If that VWAP breaks here on graph, then we will continue lower, possibly pushing down around that 16,316. I think if your average is below that 16,316, you're in a pretty good spot because that is a pretty strong support resistance area. We did struggle to break down and stay down below that in this previous consolidation range right here. So that's why it's a pretty decent buying opportunity, in my opinion. Our MPP does say there's a chance of pushing past it, but it's only a 25% chance. So take that as you will. That's not a very high probability. I wouldn't bet on those odds. But over on the 1 hour, we do have lower highs and consistent lows. So watch if we can push up and make a higher high. If we can push up, making a double bottom with a higher high, then we may break forward. And our MPP does say we could retest that 26,424. So that would be positive on that double bottom break forward. If that break forward were to retest that level, then that's where we could start to push forward and revisit that value area high. Now, we did break that value area high, let's see, quite some time ago. So when you break those value area highs, usually you do make the move to your next area or point control, which is why we've been covering the 16,316. So now we have seen a few touches near that range, and we have seen some bullish momentum come in since then. If this bullish momentum can sustain, that's where we would make a move back toward that value area high, try to reclaim it, flip it, and continue forward. So those are kinds of things you want to look for with these volume profiles. That's why we have these here as well, because they do give you those short-term kind of support resistance areas in between your consolidation ranges, which are the white lines we have mapped out. So hopefully that's helpful for you too, Abolisher. Stochastic does want to push down. Our size starting to weaken. VWAP is pushing down. Momentum is weakening. Our money flow is in the red. So just keep an eye on that VWAP. If that VWAP stays bearish here, we could see some more pain. But again, I think that 16,316 may be the max pain point. That would be dependent on how the rest of the market's looking. We do have a chance to break below that. And remember, we do have the chance to push to that 14,316. But I think that would be more the like max extreme case, because a break to that 11,057, I'd probably take like the whole market dumping. And I don't think that's a very likely scenario right now. I think it could happen in a few months, but not right now. Stochastic does want to pull back here on anchor for the daily. We are seeing a quick drop. Remember, a quick drop is pretty good because then you do typically retrace and push forward. Stochastic does want to break away. RSI is starting to weaken. That VWAP is in the bearish territory, pushing momentum lower. Money flow is red. So we do look like our money flow is green, but with that VWAP pulling back, that money flow can flip red on these lower time frames. If they hold red, remember that will weaken the higher time frames over time. The 1 hour has been red for quite some time, so watch out, because this means we could see further bearish momentum. Bears have control of lower time frames, and usually when they control the lower time frames, you do start to push down and have the probability for strong red candles on those higher time frames. Our stochastic does want to push down. RSI is starting to weaken. VWAP is favoring bearish, pushing momentum lower, and money flow is in the bearish territory. So watch that VWAP. If it continues to favor bearish here, it's likely we will continue to weaken these higher time frames and start to push down. The 2 hour is bearish, 1 hour is bearish, and the 4 hour is about to break bearish. Remember, when all three time frames confirm the bearish momentum or bullish momentum, depending on which way the market's moving, you do get the chance for those stronger candles. That being said, if tomorrow is not a green day, we could start a pretty strong red day tomorrow, I would say, just based on that, because that 4 hour is about to flip. Stochastic does want to push down. We have a double red dot here on XRP for the daily. Momentum is pushing down. VWAP is pulling back, and money flow is starting to bend away a little bit. So keep an eye on that VWAP. If it remains bearish, we could see a bit of a pullback here and continue to retrace even lower. So I would watch about that 270, 280 area. If we break that, then we'd have like that 250 and then $2 range after that. Stochastic does want to push down. RSI is starting to weaken. Our VWAP is pushing down. Momentum is weakening. Our money flow does want to round away. Keep an eye on that VWAP. If that VWAP continues to push down here, we will break down, and the MPP does say there's about 45% chance to push into that 274 area. So there's almost a 50-50% chance. We did push a little bit below, making a higher low. So watch out for lower lows with lower highs. If we start seeing that here, we will create a bearish trend that will bring us lower. Over on Algo for the daily, last but not least, unless we have any special requests, we are starting to round away here as well. We do have a bit of a bullish trend going on, but if the rest of the market continues to push down, expect Algo to follow. So Stochastic does want to round away. We have a bearish cross. RSI is pushing down. Momentum is rounding with the red dot. VWAP is breaking down, and money flow is about to break from green to red. So I would watch these lower time frames. It does look like the daily is about to get a trend reversal. Over on the 1 hour, we do have a overall push down. These highs and lows don't really connect too well, so this is more of a bearish continuation, which does continue to push you to the downside. VWAP is breaking down, momentum is pushing down, so Stochastic is falling, RSI is weakening, and money flows in the red. So watch that VWAP very close. If it continues to remain bearish, we do have a lower low here. If it continues to favor bearish, momentum will break, money flow will remain red, and higher time frames will weaken. Thank you for watching tonight's video. I hope you have a great night. Hit the like and subscribe, and join us in that Discord.